Good afternoon, students. In today's session, we will discuss education and culture in detail. So, in our previous session, we discussed what is culture, definitions of culture, characteristics of culture. So, in today's session, it's culture of a society. Our today's topic is culture of a society. So, culture means a way of life of a society. This includes the way we eat food, it reflects our culture, we wear clothes, like we dress up, we sometimes we use ornaments, jewelry that reflects culture that this person is from particular region of India or belongs to particular community or scheduled tribes or anything like that. So it reflects our culture. This includes the way of eating food, wearing clothes, using language. If someone speaks Hindi from Hindi dominating state like UP, Haryana, Rajasthan, or if one speaks some other language, Telugu, then we guess they are from Andhra Pradesh, or we are sure, not only guess, we know that they are from Andhra or southern part of India. Based on features, sometimes based on features, we say the people are from North India. So it is like that. And the way they talk, behave, the food they eat, it reflects their culture. They are from North India, they are from South India, they are from northern part of India. So using language, getting married, even buried, playing, so and so on. It also includes reading literature, music, the kind of music we listen to, looking at the work of painters, arts, or the other activities which we may think of as representing our culture. So a large number of factors have to be considered to make an estimate of the culture of a society. Different societies have different cultures. There are variations of culture between civilized societies and between subcultures within the same society. There are variations of culture between civilized societies and between subcultures within the same society. Personality of the child is determined by the culture in which it grows. Definitely, it affects and it helps to determine his or her personality, the kind of environment in which he grows up. Some factors give a good indication of the culture to which a person belongs. Like these include income, occupation, our language habits, like it includes speech, our accent, and vocabulary as well. Types of residence and spending habits, our living habits. These include clothes and dress, eating habits and diet, physical habits and means of keeping healthy. Our attitudes. These include attitude towards marriage, bringing up children, family life, patterns of family life, and sometimes joint family or nuclear family, moral attitudes, and standards as well. Leisure pursuits. How do we spend our leisure time? This include reading, listening to radio, television program, cooking, gardening, playing, going out for a walk, spending holidays, etc. Beliefs and value system. This includes our religious beliefs, our social ambitions, political views, and our aims in life. We must not think of culture of society as something apart from the people who live it and change it. Culture is made up of the thoughts and actions of individuals and groups of people and has not any other existence except as the recorded evidence of people's thoughts and actions. Socialization as a process of acculturation. Many cultural anthropologists regard socialization as a process of acculturation or the culture of the group. In the words of Martin and Standler, culture refers to the total way of life of people, that complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, morals, law, customs, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of the society. This means that for the adoption of a culture, one must practice in the activities of the societies. One must mix up with others to learn the habits of the society, which is often done with children. Children do, they mix up, they gel up with people in the society to learn the habits, ways of society to which one belongs. In other words, to socialize, oneself must learn the culture of a society. If we don't know or don't understand the culture of a society, we won't be able to mix up with other members of the society. Culture and need for schooling. Society is very keen that its young members should not lapse into barbarity and ignorance. So they are very keen to uh, take care of their culture, to shape up their youths. So it is very keen that its young members should not lapse into barbarity and ignorance. They should be civilized people, responsible citizens, who can take forward the legacy ahead. Whatever it has attained in social, cultural, religious, and other fields, it feels its bounded duty to transmit it to the next generation. As the society has become more complex and knowledge is piling up, it feels the need for formal education. And thus, society starts to educate its members. The purpose is twofold. First is transmission of our cultural heritage to our new generation, next generation, and improvement of the cultural heritage. So let's talk about transmission of cultural heritage. To perpetuate present progress, we should transmit the cultural heritage. Only physical reproduction is not sufficient. We should equip the new generation with our attainments in all fields of life. We should exploit the innate tendencies, needs, and interest of the children for the purpose of education. Our education should also be in consonance with the mental makeup of our students. Improvement of the cultural heritage. Without improvement, the culture will stagnate, and stagnation is not good for any society, for any culture, and even for education or anything. Stagnation is not. It should move. So, education is not only to reflect the social conditions but also to improve them. With the advancement of science and technology, our ways of life are also undergoing a tremendous change. If we do not cope up with the present advancement, there would be a cultural lag. We will be lagging behind. So we must cope up with the present advancement to ensure ourselves and to equip ourselves with the most advanced things in our society. So we must adjust ourselves with the fast changing world. So education must adapt itself to the changing conditions and prepare young individuals to equip themselves with these changing conditions and to adjust themselves with changing conditions. But generally, certain new developments are not very desirable. So we shall have to guard ourselves against the tendency of the schools to import everything new in the society. Its old and outmoded things are to be discarded. We need to be vigilant against blind and slavish imitation of the new developments. As an educated person, as an educated people, it's our responsibility to see what to accept and what to discard. So we should be vigilant with these things and should not accept everything blindly. So it is through education that we can prepare students to evaluate the past and understand the present and be prepared for the future. So students should be taught to get inspiration from the inspiring past, to live in the dynamic present and to face the challenging future or future challenges. So it's important that education should be such which prepare student to get inspiration from our inspiring past, to live in the dynamic present and to face the challenges of future. Reorganization of education, a challenging task. According to KG Sayedian, an eminent educationist, KG Sayedian, an eminent educationist, We are today at one of the great crossroads of our history when the pattern both of our culture and social order is being refashioned. We are today at one of the great crossroads of our history when the pattern both of our culture and social order is being refashioned. While it is true that education should always be essentially a forward looking activity, in normal times, when changes take place rather slowly and decorously, its function is mainly conservative, adjusting the child to a relatively stable environment. But in periods of crisis like the present, when the older is dying out and the new one is not quite born, English literature student must be able to relate with it. In periods of crisis like the present, when the older is dying out and the new one is not quite born, so you can understand what kind of phase it is. Older has not died down and new has yet to come. So when the older forms of culture have lost their grip on the loyalty, at least of the youth, and the new shape of things is far from being clear, education has a specially difficult and critical role to play. Modernization of education and cultural renaissance. India is on the move again with the promise of a new renaissance in the making. The most powerful tool in the process of the renaissance and modernization is education, based on moral and spiritual values on the one hand, and on the other, science and technology. As quoted by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, can we combine the progress of science and technology with the progress of the mind and spirit also? Can we combine the process of progress of science and technology with the progress of the mind and spirit also? Why not? We can do so. That we can combine the process of science and technology with the progress of our mind and spirit. We should also progress with it.